The market hit a bottom early in March.
March may have started out like a lion, but many investors are hoping the market took a turn toward a lamb as we start out this new month.
There's lots of headwinds and there's clouds on the horizon right now, but the underlying fundamentals are still pretty solid.
MarketBeat's Thomas Hughes shares his hot stock buys for April,
All these companies have a good, healthy outlook, and that's why they're on this list.
including one of the most upgraded stocks this spring.
They should be growing at a double-digit pace for quite a few more years.
Let's dive in. Well, Thomas, spring is in the air, and I think investors would love to see a spring in the stock market. It felt like a lot of March, the market was just trying to find a bottom. Do you think we've reached it towards the end of March now?
Well, so the market hit a bottom, early in March and it bounced, but here as the month is rounding out, it looks like we're under pressure again. We're still above those lows, but I would not be surprised to see those lows retested in April or even surpassed and see new lows set.
That's a good thing for investors to keep in mind. Let's talk about some catalysts that could be coming in April too for the overall market.
See, probably three big catalysts this month. Number one will be Trump, tariffs, policy changes, however that impacts the outlook. We're also looking at earnings season starting. It's going to start with a report from JP Morgan about April 11th, I think. And then after that, it's the FOMC meeting. There's a small chance for them to cut this month. I would not place too much hope into that expectation, but they should have some comments about the outlook and the pace of upcoming interest rate cuts. My take on that is the inflation's hot. The PCE came out recently. It accelerated at the core level. So we shouldn't expect the Fed to talk too much about cutting rates at the coming meeting.
Yeah, I think, like you said, don't hold your breath for that too much right now.
Right.
Despite all of these economic and overarching factors in the market, there are still 5 stocks out there that are really good buys for April. Let's dive into your list, Thomas.
Right. And just to, kind of preface this, there's lots of headwinds and there's clouds on the horizon right now, but the underlying fundamentals are still pretty solid. All these companies have a good, healthy outlook, and that's why they're on this list. Um, First stock is Okta. Okta is a cybersecurity firm, outperformed, gave really good guidance. It's growing its client base, deepening penetration. It's got good cash flow. Analysts are raising their targets. So this stock is likely going to be heading higher later on this year. Near-term outlook is going to be a little sketchy.
It's the most upgraded stock for March, which is a good sign heading into April. And it's the first time we've talked about this company on this channel. So I want to dive into a little bit about what they do and what
Right.
kind of sets them apart in cybersecurity.
Well, right. So they're a unified platform and they're focused on ID. So what they do is they try to secure your ID on a network. And when you're accessing things, your access is based on your ID. They've credentialed you. They know that you're the good person, so they let you in where you need to go. And so that's kind of what sets them apart. Also, it's a really hot field right now. The way that digitization is growing, we have a dual tailwind of increasing use of digital by businesses, but also increasing need for advanced security because of the rapidly advancing technologies. As far as Okta goes, it's not a standalone product, so you're going to want to use that with some other cybersecurity companies to secure your endpoints, to secure your networks, to secure your internet, to secure your cloud. Okta's part of that. So they have a pretty robust outlook for the next few years. They should be growing at a double-digit pace for quite a few more years, producing solid cash flow, and hopefully keeping the analysts interested.
Yeah, it's an interesting new stock pick to start off our list for April. Let's go
Right.
to your next buy pick. And this one has been on your list the last couple of months, too.
Oh, NVIDIA has been on the list for like the last 3 years. So NVIDIA, right now, it's part of the correction. It's sold off significantly from its highs. It's having some hard time gaining traction. But at these price points, it is still deeply undervalued. It's trading at only 10x its 2035 earnings. It's expected to sustain a double-digit growth rate into the end of the next decade. There's some clouds, there's some uncertainty in the outlook, but even if the earnings forecast is only slightly wrong, it's still a very low valuation. There's lots of value to be had. Investors can buy in here with a long-term outlook and be pretty sure of seeing some profits in the next 5 to 10 years.
I don't want to ignore an article that you came out with in March, and that was about some insiders selling NVIDIA. Tell us about that and whether you're concerned about it at all.
Well, insider selling, can be a red flag, but as far as NVIDIA goes, the sales were small. They align with share-based compensation. The company's share repurchases are offsetting it. Analysts are buying it. Institutions are buying it. So aside from that one small, teeny tiny red flag, all of the other indications are very bullish for NVIDIA's stock price.
Yeah, many investors are always paying attention to what those corporate insiders are doing. Check out this free report on MarketBeat.com right now with a list of 12 stocks corporate insiders are abandoning right now. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description of this video to get that free report on MarketBeat.com right now. All right, Thomas, let's move on to your next hot buy for April.
Yeah, Starbucks. Starbucks received some notable analyst attention in March. It's one of our most upgraded stocks. But the takeaway from the chatter is that analysts have begun to see early signs of traction being gained with the new CEO, Brian Niccol's turnaround efforts. We really like Brian Niccol. He's responsible for Chipotle Mexican Grill success. We do also see some of these signs of success in the turnaround efforts. We've got some improved in-store visits. We've got clients really leaning into that new ceramic mug that they're able to use. They're using less promotions, so they're needing to lean less on lower prices to attract customers. And so again, with the analysts, they see a lot of positive signs. They're raising their price targets. They're predicting a 15 to 20% upside. And I would say that's probably a cautious outlook because we're expecting this company to be performing well over the coming quarters and improving results. That should fuel the analyst upgrade cycle. So I would expect to see analysts continuing to revise their price targets higher and leading this market to new highs as the year progresses.
I think it's an interesting example of how one person in leadership can make a huge difference in a stock's performance.
Well, it's all about culture. And it's not like anybody else in the company could have done it or couldn't have done it, but he's very good at doing it. He's a very good leader. He's able to delegate his responsibilities and lean on his staff and his executives to really get this job done. Not to mention, he's got a lot of experience with digital traffic, and that's really where one of Starbucks' biggest problems were. They leaned really hard in digital. The digital was upsetting flow in the stores, and flow through was one of Mr. Niccol's favorite buzzwords. He's all about flow through. You got to keep the flow through flowing so that the customers can come in and be happy and give you their money.
That's a really great point. All
Mhm.
right, let's move on to your next stock pick. And this one is yet another new stock for our
Yep.
channel anyway.
Carnival Corporation. The company had struggled because of the pandemic. It definitely took on some debt to get through those bad times. Since social distancing has ended, the company's business has rebounded strongly. It's been growing, it's been setting records, it's outperforming, it's raising its guidance. Most importantly, its cash flow and free cash flow is awesome, and it's repaying that debt at a faster than anticipated rate. It should regain its investment quality debt ratings by the end of the fiscal year. That's a very bullish catalyst for the stock. And again, the analysts are noticing all of these things. They're raising their price targets, they're raising their ratings, and they're leading this market higher.
Yeah, I think it's an important conversation to be had about tourism in general. With the economy and the uncertainty, are we seeing any pullback on tourism spending and travel spending yet? Or is this sector just as strong for April and heading into the summer?
Well, we're not seeing it in Carnival's results because what they're reporting is record demand and really strong onboard spending. So not only do people want to take the trips, but once they get there, they're spending money on drinks and presents and packages and whatever else, massages, whatever else there is to do on the boat. So Carnival's outlook is pretty good for this year. They're forecasting another record year for this year and for next year.
All right, we talked about coffee and cruises. How are we finishing out April right now?
All right, so we're going to finish out April with Amprius Technologies. Amprius Technologies makes an advanced silicone anode lithium ion battery. So it's still a rechargeable lithium ion battery, but the silicone anode makes it more durable. It's got a higher energy density and a higher output. It charges faster. It provides a lot of advantages to the current standard in batteries, very applicable to things like aerospace, drones. We've talked a lot about Archer and Joby Aviation. I would not be surprised to see them using these batteries. But again, this company is making some pretty big strides with this business. It's expanding its manufacturing footprint. It's received a bunch of new orders. The guidance is being improved. analysts are noticing these positive factors and they're raising their price targets and leading the market.
I think this is a really interesting stock pick when you see so much growth and development, like you said, in the air taxi movement and other electric vehicles out there. This is kind of another sector that we could see a lot of growth.
In the electrified world, batteries are very important. And one of the things that they've been waiting on, the industry's been waiting on, is a big advancement in battery technology. I don't know that this is necessarily it. It does improve density and discharge and charging. Um, but like the EV market needs a battery that can really compete and compare with an ICE engine to where you get that the distance and the range and the quick refill.
Yeah, some really important points. And another interesting pick for April. Let us know your thoughts. Which companies are you interested in from this list? And do you have any of your own picks coming up for April? Let us know in the comments. Thanks again for watching, everyone. And as always, happy investing.